I had another agent that reached out to me on Facebook and said, "What are the top 3 things that you love about Agent Associates?" And I'm like, 3 things. I'm like, yeah, well, we're gonna have to meet face to face. Like
it's not.
Come on, this isn't something that you use Facebook Messenger for.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, are we gonna talk about our business? Are we gonna talk about our health? Are we gonna talk about
family?
Just our relationship with our family? It's so much more than just the production aspect of your business.
What is going on? Welcome to another episode of Badass Agents Podcast. I am your host, AZ Araujo, and today I have special guests with an S, and it's you guys know them. They're all over social media. They're the local heroes and local celebrities, Mr. Rio Vidrio and Jesse Abarca. What's going on, my brothers?
And we are back.
Yes,
you guys are back.
Good to be back, especially after yesterday's fire meeting that we had.
We did. We had a mid-year review, and it was fire. We had a packed house. We had people kind of sitting in the outskirts, and we do this often, right, to set our targets, to make sure that we are on track. And oftentimes, I think we forget when we're not on track because we're not keeping track of it. Yeah. And yesterday was just the type of meeting to recalibrate and recommit. But we have a lot to talk about, guys. Like, the last time we were together, we were preparing for our triathlon. Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and touch on that. But before we do, I want you to go ahead and take a look at our first 6 months here at A's & Associates. Take a look. All right, man. That was 6 months.
Yeah, that's crazy. Looking at some of those clips and seeing all the stuff that's happened in the last.
It's insane.
It seems like it's been years.
No kidding. That footage right there and all that we did was just in the past 6 months, and
that's insane.
And we're getting prepared to really, fire up the second half of the year. And now a lot has changed since the last time you guys were here. We were talking about doing our first sprint triathlon, the A's & Associates inaugural, and we actually ended up completing it.
Yeah.
And that's the footage.
There's a lot of mind games going on the last time we were here.
There was, and everybody proclaimed, had a proclamation that they were going to win, that they had the edge, like Rio. He was the polar bear, right? He thought that he can, swim. His swimming was so good, he thought he could win with that alone.
Well, there was 3 competitions we did. There was the swim and run, which I did happen to win that
No,
one.
no, there's not 3 competitions. It's called a triathlon.
Are we
It's considered-
talking about practice?
The practice, yeah, that one was fun. But then we had the Olympic. And
We did the Olympic triathlon, and we were preparing. We did the inaugural A's and Associates.
Yeah.
And who won that one? I forget on that.
Hazy himself.
Okay, I ended up winning that one,
Yeah.
and then we did the Olympic, and that was actually pretty good. I mean, that was fun.
Let's name those off. Who was in first place and second place on that one?
I was in first place.
And I was in second.
Okay, and our Iron Man right here just had a
I
bad
was in
showing.
third. I was in third.
It was a bad showing. Just it's just one game, right? It's just one battle. It wasn't the war.
Edgar DQ, unfortunately.
Yeah, Edgar, like he had some kidney problems or something, right?
Talk
Rhabdo.
about, it was a flat tire
Rhabdo.
that caused him to get out, but then he went to the doctor the next day, found out that he had like
Rhabdo.
Yeah, Rhabdo.
It's
Unreal.
Serious. Like basically, it's
Dehydration, right?
shuts down.
Yeah, your internal.
It's a big
organs.
thing, like in CrossFit. Like a lot of athletes suffer from that, and it took him out for about a month.
His flat tire might have saved his life, man. Because if he would
It's
have
insane, right? Because he was upset about his flat tire, but it turns out that if that would never happen, he would have probably kept going and probably caused some more,
damage.
serious damage.
I remember seeing him when he had a flat, and I'm catching up, and I go, I don't have any tubes, I don't have anything, and I'm like, is there anything I can do to help you? He's like,
hoorah.
nah, just keep going. I'm
So
like,
you were
"All
in
right."
fourth place.
I was in fourth place.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good catch
Damn.
on that.
Yeah,
Good
no,
catch
no,
on that.
yeah, no, absolutely.
So the swim
But
is
I
what
was
give you.
planning on making up time on the run. You know, that was my go-to right there.
So
That's
I enjoyed competition. I had my best. You also had your best swim ever, right?
Yeah.
And my swim would have been as good as your like previous good swim.
Yeah.
But then you showed up powerfully and really killed it
We had a little side bet going. The side bet was that you would catch up to me on the bike.
on the bike.
Like you did on a sprint.
But I also told you, the competition really starts on the run.
Right.
I told you that.
Well,
And you know
let's
what?
just put
I'll
that
tell
out
you.
there.
I had a little bit of an advantage, right? I had a coach that kind of was feeding me these little tidbits. He says, "Don't kill yourself on the bike. Even if you go all out, you're not going to make that much time up. So why exude that additional energy and exhaust yourself?" He says, "Save that in the tank for the run." So, if I really wanted to, Rio.
I'm just gonna throw it out there. We had a little side bet action, you know.
But actually, my time was still better.
Yeah, on the bike.
On the bike. It was better.
By a minute. Yeah, it was better. But
What?
the swim, I was up by 6 minutes. So you made up some time.
No, we're just.
Hey, I too have my best swim as well.
Okay.
Here you go.
I got
I
out
guess
of
he's in the
I
conversation
got out
too.
of the lake.
Yeah.
I got out of the lake.
You got out of the
alright?
lake.
That's a win.
So, but the run is where I really made up most of my time. And I ended up just catching you on the 3rd mile, I think.
Yeah, 3rd mile. Before the 3rd mile.
Yeah, before the 3rd mile.
Yeah.
And you said that you kind of felt me coming, right?
I
You
just
used
a
my
presence, just like
A certain stride.
Yeah, I could just recognize that stride. I was
like a Clydesdale.
I felt it, and then
Clydesdale.
and Easy
It was
just
a galloping.
nah, but it was good, man. That maybe that message that you delivered to me when I was on that 3rd mile might have been what pushed me over to allow me to keep competing, because I really was out, man.
Yeah.
Like I was tired. It was hot, and
Yeah.
I was just, my body was cramping. But you delivered a great message, even as you're happily striding past
Yeah.
me. And then I finished. In
No,
second.
I was glad to see you. I mean, you were really pushing yourself, and no, it was good to see you. And I just simply told you not to stop, man. This was
Keep
yours.
pushing.
Keep pushing, and you did, man. You came in second, and it was awesome, man. Just to be able to be out there, to push ourselves, because that's all. I mean, the running, the swimming, and the cycling, it's really out of our comfort zones, right?
Yeah.
So for us to really train and show up the way we did, I thought it was
on
awesome.
Cinco de Mayo,
Cinco de Mayo.
which goes just to reflect of what I was doing, in the years past
Right.
on
Yeah.
Cinco de Mayo.
What do you do? You drink your ass
Drinking.
off, right?
Versus this year, a complete different shift.
You're dehydrating for a whole different reason. You're dehydrating because of all that alcohol.
No, it was absolutely fun. And, something I think that triggered something about all of us, right? I think it's the production aspect of it. Because once you push that threshold in one aspect of your life physically, right, it opens up your capacity to be able to take on more maybe in your business. And I've seen that in both of you, how you guys have progressed tremendously in your businesses. Now you guys are going for new heights as far as closings by the end of the year. We had our mid-year review yesterday, and that's something that we do on a consistent basis here with A's and Associates. We have quarterly reviews, mid-year reviews, end-of-year reviews, just to constantly be of knowing what the trends are and what we do, our patterns.
And I think that, no one else is doing the mid-year, and in order to be able to like make those adjustments that are necessary, it's like you can't wait till the end of the year.
You can't.
It's too late.
It's too late. Like for us to say, okay, next year will be better. We still have half a year left. And we do notice that like everyone's excited about the New Year's resolutions, the New Year's goals, but it's like, what happens after the first month? What happens after the first 3 months and first half of the year? And that's where we're constantly at. And we always have, most of our agents show up because they understand, and you guys understand how important that is. And in living this challenge-based lifestyle where you're constantly setting the targets and striving for it, really allows you to wake up knowing that you have certain things that you have to do. And
your ability to like reverse engineer and break it down for us to tell us exactly where we were at and what we need to do in order to accomplish that 1 year goal.
Isn't that like when I went through that process, it really shined the light exactly on what the trends are for you, right? So what we did is we took our numbers and we did reverse engineer so we can understand what our average price home is, and also like what is required so you can hit your overall 2019 goals. And you guys are very clear about specifically what you have to do for the rest of the year, for the month, for the week, and and things of that nature. And I think that really just gives our brain like a direction of what to do and what to look for.
Definitely. I was sitting next to Rio when we graphed it out to see which were our better months and which ones are our worst months. And it was interesting just sitting next to him because he was able to bring a different perspective because we're in the office together. And he was able to like spot on say things that he saw in my my performance, and at first I kind of fought him a little bit, and I just quickly just shut him down, and then I said, you know what, I gotta listen.
You gotta yes, man, and that's that's ideal. It takes a big man to listen. It takes a really powerful man to take a step back and understand that that it has to be the right person, obviously. But if the right person's giving you their feedback because they genuinely care, it's something to listen to.
It's almost like, okay, instead of immediately shut him down, let me open up the possibility and kind of dig a little deeper into is part of this true or not?
Yes, because we were able to graph. Everyone kind of drew out their graph based on the numbers that you guys were provided, right? Which was all the closings from January to June 30th. And you guys were able to put it all out, and you were able to see trends. And one of the questions was, okay, identify your best month. And it's like, okay, this is nice. I'm capable of closing 6, 7, 8 deals in 1 month. That's beautiful, right? If you do that on a consistent basis, you're top 1% of 1%, right, in Arizona. But the real question was, what led up to that successful month? Like, what were the actions? What were you doing? What were the patterns and the consistencies that you had that got you that number? And then the following question was, identify your worst month. So when you see it on the graph, you're able to see, okay, I had this month where I only closed 1 or 2 or none. What were the patterns 60 days prior to that? Because our production, our results don't come from the things we're doing today.
Absolutely not.
It comes from the things we did 60 to even 90 days ago.
And that's huge, man, especially in this society where everything you're used to doing, you want that instant gratification. So to sit there and actually evaluate and see, like, damn, what was I doing 60 days before my worst month? And it's just like, oh, that's right. I was doing this. I was doing that.
It's almost like yesterday when we had the Craig's wife came in and gave the B12 shots to us. And instantly I'm like, oh, I don't feel any different. Like I want instant gratification. Like I'm like,
you want this like limitless type of reaction,
and instantly, right? And I'm like, all right, Jesse, it takes time. It takes time. This is going to be a weekly thing that I'm gonna.
Yeah, it's like a weekly commitment, right? A consistency thing.
Not just I'm gonna get a B12 shot and I have abundance of energy or whatever that may be, but that's my natural way. And I think a lot of our natural way, we just want things now.
Just right away. And it definitely, and it's funny because it's like the buildup to do something is so much greater than it is to destroy it too. So it's like you'd spend all this time building up this momentum, and then you finally get the results, but the amount of time it takes to destroy that momentum is just like instant. It can happen overnight.
Oh yeah, like you could spend all this time building your body, right? Like I've been in situations where I was very strict about my diet, working out consistently, and everything comes together 2 or 3 months down the line, right? 3 months down the line, I'm feeling good, but I have 2 bad weeks, and all of a sudden, like, all the gains are gone.
Oh yeah, dude.
And it's that easy. It's that easy because we don't realize when we let go how far we let it go.
Yeah.
Right. And it's the pattern of not just just having it not eating the right foods, but how much of the bad foods we actually consume during that time. So let me back up here. When I'm not consistently doing the right things and I'm off the wrong track, I go really deep off the wrong track, right? Like just spiraling.
But you definitely showed me a great example of like building up to our Olympic triathlon, like every day.
Yes.
Every day you're eating the chicken, you're eating your rice. I'm having, chips and soda. Because
it smells good in your office, though, man. You got like the chicken and fried rice.
How is this guy still beating me? Like, how is he beating me? And it's a consistent lifestyle that you're maintaining versus like you can't be eating anything that you want when you're trying to catch up to someone.
We all know that chicken is good, and we know that beef, if it's cooked the right way, but. Fast food chicken is very different from like homemade chicken, right? Yeah. And what they put into it. But it's just a consistent aspect of it. And I think that's what we're all learning here, that the more consistent we are, the greater the results we get in whatever we do. And if we come to a point where it's just a lot of peaks and valleys, it's because there's a lot of inconsistency in what we do. But what was the thing that you identified most about, like, what happened on your best month? Like, what were some of the things that you were doing that resulted into your best months?
Well, to reflect on the best months, I had to reflect on the worst months, right? So when I had my worst months, I saw, and my mind wasn't in. Now, I'm not saying that my mind was in the wrong place. I was in the right place. I was getting married. I had a lot of stuff going on. But that happens all the time. There's always stuff going on.
Always.
Like your kids are promote. Like there's a bunch of stuff always going on. Mm-hmm. I didn't take I just completely let go of my business. So I had the absolute worst month that I ever had in February of this year. Mm-hmm. And then because of that regression, though, we had our meeting, and then we had, our talks. And then because of that regression, though, February, March, April, May, I just absolutely killed the marketing. I was putting out videos every single week. I was putting
every day.
Like just completely revamped my marketing. And then the results started showing, and then I had my best month that I've ever had in June.
Which is unbelievable.
So it's crazy to see that trend. But then the way that you laid it out, the way that you say, okay, this was your worst. Think about what was the reason. This was your best. Think about it. And one really cool thing that I liked that you did was restructuring your goal, but not only to increase it, but also to decrease it. Because for the people that aren't on track to hit their goals, right? I like that. Even though I'm blessed enough to say, hey, you know what? I've been doing the work, and I am on track, and now I need to increase my goal.
You do, yeah.
But the people that aren't on track, it's like, well, just change your goal, make it lower, but now you have something to keep fighting for.
Yes.
Yeah, versus just kind of giving up because it's
and that happens.
Unattainable.
And we really have to, corporations do that all the time, where they readjust their numbers based on where they're at. And if they completely beat their goal, they're going to readjust to, now increase it. Yeah. And that's the thing. Both of you did something really neat. You guys both were in a position where now you can increase your goals based on what you thought you were capable of in January 2019. When you set your goals in January 2019, you're like, if I can reach this goal, I'm going to be happy. That's going to stretch me out of my comfort zone. It's going to make me grow. Now you've beaten it. Yeah. And now you're like, okay, I'm far greater than what I thought originally in January of 2019. Yeah. And both of you are now striving to be in that top, 1%. You guys are going to be right at the edge of that top 1% by getting over, what is that? 10 million. That's like 8-figure in sales, right?
Yeah, the original goal was 8 million to get into the top 2%. Mm-hmm. And then when we realized that we really have the potential to get past that, now it's like, all right, let's see how close we can get to that top 1%. Yeah. Obviously, there's a big difference between the top 2 and top 1%.
Yes.
We're talking a difference of about 5 million. Mm-hmm. But still seeing how much we can actually actually push further because it's you know what, we already kind of like, I'm pretty sure we can already get that first.
It's almost like in that clip, dude. Like that's all of that was in 6 months.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's
just kind of gone by. And I think the figure that we readjusted now, in the beginning of the year, we would have never.
Yeah, it's unrealistic at the beginning. Yeah. Isn't that amazing? Just 6 months ago, what you're striving for was unrealistic. 6 months later, now it's like within your grasp. It's like right there, ready to reach for.
And when you when you reverse engineered it and said, these are the things that you need to close this amount of, it just makes, and then you just break it down. Okay, how many is that a month?
Yeah.
Oh, that's doable.
Because you've proven it.
Right.
Like everything that it's doable is because you've proven it before. And that's the way I like to just simplify things, because when it gets too complicated, I'm overwhelmed. I can't do shit. I'm like, I'm done with it. But once it's a simple process where you break down the numbers and know exactly what you have to do, it's like, okay, I can do that.
Yeah, and at my previous brokerage, we wouldn't have that mid-year review. So then what would happen is we'd get to the end of the year, and then I'm like, okay, next year I'm going to reach my goal. Like it was just I didn't hit it but where I'm able to course correct now a lot sooner and ensure that when December comes, I'm not saying next year.
Next year, exactly.
It's amazing, and I think that's all we really need is to remind ourselves of what we promised ourselves, what our goals are, and just recalibrate on the actions. Right? We all need to just readjust and determine, okay, am I still doing the things that got me the success, or what have I stopped doing that got me the worst, the worst of months? And I mean, you guys saw the numbers up there. It was just incredible to see like these massive numbers being pushed by all these agents. Our top 20 all have sold over $2 million in 1 quarter, which is unheard of in any brokers, right? And it's something that's just I feel like we're just getting started. And how long you been in the business now?
3 years.
3 years?
Yeah.
How about you?
10 years.
And it's like, it's exciting, right?
Yeah.
After so long in this business, there's a lot of agents that are just going through the motions. They're burnt out. And it's like, in this environment, we all feel invigorated about just going after it over and over and over.
Because you're surrounded by a bunch of like top producing agents that are producing. And so when you have issues, you're able to bounce these ideas, mastermind with, I mean, just a regular day in our studio office.
Yeah.
I mean,
yesterday we sat
Frank
there.
Martin will pop in, Ruth will pop in, and all of a sudden there's, these
great conversations going.
Top producing agents. Craig's, will pop in and we just start, having conversations, man, talking.
And it's never like that. Competitive, like there's so much to go around. It's never like that. Oh, I'm not gonna give these people my trade secrets. It's all out there, and we all help each other out. We all put out. You did a main focus on buyer consultations. I did one specific to podcasting.
Yes.
And I mean, it's just like, hey, like this has worked for me. Like there's definitely enough to go around here. You try it.
Yes.
Let's see how we can help grow together the entire company. Let's just kind of keep building off of that momentum. And it's so different, man. I actually I had somebody reach out to me through social media recently, not because of purchasing a house. Unfortunately, it was more because it was just crazy how fate will just slap you in the face. So I'm helping out a couple purchase a house, and they came to me through social media, but they happen to work. One of them happens to work at the Apple Store, and this gentleman goes into the Apple Store to get some sort of a device. I don't know what it is, and he hears my name. He's talking because the Apple people are super nice, and then he tells him his aspirations to become a real estate agent. He's already in school. He's about to finish, and then my client tells him, "Hey, I know this guy. Like, you should talk to him, right?" And I'm pretty sure he just kind of put that in the back of his mind, like, some guy, some guy real,
some random guy.
And just fate would have its way. We're having our meeting yesterday, and he is working out in the exact location that we're at. So he walks by and he sees Asian Associates, meeting, banners everywhere.
Yes.
He probably hears Carla delivering his great message. Like, what the hell's going on in that room?
What the hell is going on in there?
So then he messages me finally. That was the slap in the face, right? He's like, he messages me on Instagram, and he's like, "Hey man, I heard about you from so and so, and then I also saw your guys' event that you guys were throwing yesterday.
Wow.
I'm real interested." So I'm sitting there and I'm just kind of giving him a little bit of insight, but it's so hard to really tell somebody like what we're about.
Yes.
So my best thing was like, "Hey man, just like check out the founder's website, check out his profile, because like there's just not like words can't, even a video won't be able to tell you. It's just like it's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle. It really is, man.
Like there's no sales switch.
I had another agent that reached out to me on Facebook and said, "What are the top 3 things that you love about AZ and Associates?" And I'm like, 3 things. I'm like, yeah, we're gonna have to meet face to face. Like
it's not.
Come on, this isn't something that you use Facebook Messenger for.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
It's like, are we gonna talk about our business? Are we gonna talk about our health? Are we gonna talk about
family?
Just our relationship with our family? It's so much more than just the production aspect of your business.
It's just, I guess, it's really living a great life period, right? And you mentioned something yesterday. You said, because he asked, hey, what's the difference between this brokerage and that brokerage and AZ and Associates? And he said, hey, they'll teach you how to be great realtors.
Yeah.
But AZ and Associates will teach you how to be a great business owner.
Exactly.
Now, I think it goes beyond that. It's just to be great, period, right? Because we do focus so much on all aspects of our life. And the reason we do that is because this is for the long game. Yeah. We're not in here just to like take advantage of whatever's going on right now. It's like I'm in it for the long haul. And in order to do that, I better be taking care of myself and I better be invested in my family. Otherwise, it's just short term.
Exactly. And that's the thing. Like, at the end of the day, to be a great business owner, you have to take advantage of all the benefits of your family, of your health. So, I mean, you can really wrap that all. I mean, a good business owner is somebody that does all of this. It's not somebody that's just a good realtor. And that was the message that I was trying to relay to him. It's like, hey, they'll teach you that contract front to back. You know, they'll teach you how to post on Facebook. They'll teach you how to post on Instagram. But you're not going to be an actual business owner where you're taking care of your family, you're taking care of your health, and you're taking care of your business.
Yes.
Investing in your business. And I think I delivered a good message. Hopefully,
I thought it was good. Man, we might have to coin that and, you know, give you some type of residual income.
We got a good, who is it? Jermaine Robinson. He did a great quote that we have on our wall somewhere.
Yes.
And I was trying to take a picture, but it just couldn't come out good. But it was, what you know the quote? It's when you're in an environment.
When you're in the right environment, around the right people, instinctively you're going to do the right thing.
And
it's so true. And, you know, environment is so important because it'll help you build the right habits and it'll help you eliminate the wrong ones. And we all need, we're creatures of habits.
Of poor habits, unfortunately.
The easy way out.
Right back to them, you know?
Yeah. No,
and I could tell you that before I joined AZ and Associates, I was a great realtor. I was an absolutely great realtor, but I was a shitty family member. I just wasn't a good person. And now it's something that I strive every day to get better at.
Yeah, and the influence that you have goes far beyond that what we realize, right? When you live your life powerfully, you influence others that were waiting for you to rise up. And I think as the more powerful you become, the more certain who you are doing the right things, you've seen those individuals come up and say, Jesse, like, thank you. Thank you for you rising up, because that gave me permission now to do the same. And I've heard the same thing with you, Rio. Yeah. So like living powerfully impacts more than just you. There's like a domino effect, of things that can happen for others. And that's the thing, people want others to rise so that they can give themselves permission to rise.
Oh yeah, people want someone to be able to like follow, like an example of someone that's doing the right things. In an environment where like society, isn't doing those things, and it's like, who is like dominating in all aspects of their life? That was what attracted me here.
And the great thing is, it's not all about money. It's like, okay, let's say you're working a 9 to 5. It's like, okay, you can still be a phenomenal husband, a phenomenal father. It's not just about, like, people will gravitate. Like, I've had people that reach out to me working 9 to 5 and telling me, hey, I had a great friend that just reached out to me. His name's Adrian. He reaches out to me and he says, hey, man, he's like, I love what you're doing with your marketing. He's like, I would like to learn more. And then I was kind of thrown back because he's an accountant. So obviously he's working a 9 to 5. So I was like, hey man, like, do you mind me asking, like, what do you want? Like, what do you want me to teach you this for? He's like, well, I have this condition called something about like his muscles. He's like, and I want to deliver a message to other people that go through the same thing that I go through. He's like, I want to be a voice for that. He's like, and awesome. I feel like your marketing strategies would help me in my field. And I was just like, man, like, I will give you my energy. Like, come into my office, talk to me. Like, I will give you that.
And you know what's unique about this whole thing? Your marketing strategy is just to be raw. Right, just be raw, be honest, be real with everything, and that's the real deal. That's always the greatest strategy to marketing is just being you powerfully, right? And with that, I mean, there's a lot of inspiration that does occur from that. And here we think that it's just about, taking care of ourselves, but it really is that, like I said, that domino effect where it impacts everyone.
Yeah.
And it's something that we see on a consistent basis.
But first, you have to take care of yourself. Yeah. You have to rise.
Yeah, and we talked about that in the Prime 3, right? The P3 model, where we talk about, accessing power, the mental and physical power, to really fuel the purpose, which is the internal and external. And when we talk about purpose, oftentimes when people say, why do you do what you do? What is the first answer that we get, that you'll get?
Usually the generic answer is like, for my family.
For my family. I'm doing this for my kids. I'm doing this for this. And I think that's farther from the truth. I mean, if you're sacrificing what you want in order to deliver for somebody else, you're not giving 100% of your power to them. You're not living powerfully because you're sacrificing. Right. You got to be able to do it for you first and foremost. You got to feel good about what you do. You got to love what you do. So if the answer is like, I'm doing this for my kids, it's like, yeah, that's good, but you're also saying I'm sacrificing myself.
Your happiness.
Your happiness, yes.
Everything.
It's poetic to say that.
It's poetic. It sounds awesome.
I'm doing this for me.
Yes.
And that's what it is. I'm doing it for me.
Yeah. To feel good about the process, to live powerfully, right? And when you live powerfully, your kids are watching. That's when you're really doing something great for your kids. Yeah. So it is internal. The purpose is internal for you first and foremost, and then it's external. External becomes
the byproduct of you internally, and then your family benefits from.
And maybe the materialistic things, like if you're moving forward because you want that big house, that's okay too. Like there should be no shame in that if that's what drives. But first, it's about that feeling.
That byproduct first. It's taking care of yourself, and it's funny because we've talked about that before on previous episodes where like our kids are watching, right? Like Isaiah, when I was waking up real early and doing the bike riding, and it was just like he even had that. He asked me, he's like, "How do you wake up so early?"
Yes.
Like that's gonna somewhere along the line in his years, he's gonna think back to these memories. He's gonna dig into that database, and then he's gonna be like, if my dad could do it, why can't I?
Exactly.
But yeah, absolutely. Like that's huge. And you try telling that to the wrong person with the wrong mindset. Like, hey, I'm first, and then my kids.
Oh yeah,
they're gonna look at you like, what?
Oh yeah, you're a jerk. You're selfish. But
just walk away, real.
Yeah, exactly.
Just walk away.
Yeah. And that's exactly it. I mean, I think we spend, yes, our kids are important. We need to pass on our knowledge and the years of experience, but we have to live powerfully. And I think oftentimes we and I've said this before, parents are quick to say, I'm so proud of my kids. I'm so proud of them, this, that, or the other. But it's like, can they say the same thing about you? I'm so proud about dad. I'm so proud about mom. And that's the important thing, that you can't stop living your life. And when you showcase to your kids that you can live powerfully, they will take those traits, not what you tell them. Hey, son, you got to go to school, when you didn't even go to school. Right. Hey, son, you got to continue to strive to be the best, when you've been stuck at your job for 30 years and you hate it and you're still there. So it's like these things only go so far.
It's that whole do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah, do as I say, as I
do.
Never works.
Never works.
And then that translates into the third point of the P3, the Prime 3, which is profits. And profits, it's the awareness, or the just becoming the revelations, knowing that is your job to continually to grow yourself, right? The awareness aspect of it,
the lessons,
and then finally it's the application of it. Like none of that's important if you can't apply it. And one thing about profits is that profits is a result, right? Profits are the result of something. And with this model, it's like you can't have the results of what you want for your business. You can't have the results of what you want for your family, for yourself. And it all comes together. So it all really ties in. But it is work on all aspects of it. How good is knowledge if you don't apply it, right?
It's no good.
Yeah, like yesterday.
It's like, what's the difference between a guy who reads and a guy who doesn't read? Or what's the difference between someone who doesn't know how to read and someone who doesn't read? And it's like, there is no difference.
There is no difference, yeah.
Like, applied knowledge is where it's at.
Yes,
you got to be able to
knowledge.
Learn something and then implement it.
Yeah.
Or say, okay, that didn't work.
Yeah, like yesterday, I saw everybody just like really fired up, right? After the meeting, they're like really clear about what needs to happen next. But what a shame not to take the next step of actually doing it. So it's like we took on all this knowledge, we took on all this information, and then we just sit on our hands. It's like, that's counterproductive, right? It does more damage, if anything, because now you see a greater vision for yourself, and then you do less of it, so now it's like farther away. So we're already depressed because we expect to be here, all right, and we're doing here, and now we see a greater vision, so the gap is bigger. It's like it's counterproductive if you don't do something towards that goal.
That was something big that I picked up from yesterday's meeting, aside from the restructuring of the goal, where you had us break down exactly where every client that we've had this last year has come from, right?
The different buckets.
And then we had just had a conversation like 2 weeks ago where I was thinking about reinvesting more advertising behind my Instagram. I already do a little bit of advertising because I thought like this is where it's coming from, so I need to reinvest into that. And then when we sat there and we analyzed it, I realized that no, it's a third of where my business is.
Wow, dude.
1/3 is coming from referrals. 1/3 is coming from my sphere of influence. So then from that, I took, I'm not going to put this money and spend it on strangers. I'm going to take this money and reinvest it back into my sphere, my past clients. So I proclaimed it. I put a post out on Facebook, and I said, I'm going to do a client appreciation night because that's something I need to take care of the people that take care of me, not put out ads and try to get people that I don't even know that don't like or trust me. You know what I mean? So that was a big part of yesterday's meeting that I was able to pull in.
I remember when you mentioned client appreciation, you're like, that's it.
Yeah. It was just like, bing.
It's so true. I mean, these are the people that you've already delivered for.
Yeah.
So now it's time to like
take care of them.
Yeah, take care of them and reinvest in them. And again, you kind of had an idea of what your business was made of, but when you actually took the time to break it up, you saw the exact numbers. And we have somebody else here in the studio. She's in the background. What's going on there, Miss Carla
had
Araujo?
a great message yesterday that I was trying to get.
Come on over. Come on over, sweet cheeks. Come on. It's all right. You can come right here. Sit right next to me.
So I stuck you with my keys. Never give a woman the keys to your house.
She just barged right in and just like
she tried to sneak in.
Come on over here, sunshine. So there she is.
Can we share?
Right here, yeah. Come on over.
Namaste.
What's going on?
No, we were just talking about yesterday's meeting, but you had.
What? How old are we? How old are we? Are you crazy?
Oh, you want to say my lap?
I'm a grown woman.
I'm a grown woman.
How old are we?
Half a cheek.
That's a high school picture right there.
That's funny.
You're taking up most of it. I'll just sit behind you. It's all good.
That's still a high school pose.
I know,
with the hands.
He grabbed me by my waist, come sit on my
air
like.
squat.
How old are we?
Air squatted.
I can talk like this. It's all good. It's all good.
Carla, you delivered this great message yesterday. One of the lines that I got from that was you said, without purpose, you're not going to have the profits. Can you touch a little bit based on that? Because we were just talking about the P3, and that was one of the things that I was trying to fit in, but you just happened to walk in, which is perfect timing.
Without purpose.
Yeah, you said without purpose, you're going to go broke. You're not going to have profits if you don't have that purpose.
The purpose, when I wanted to say on the purpose, is what is your reason behind what you do? How do you feel? Your feeling behind the success. That's the purpose of it. I think most of us, for example, somebody had said children, parents, but the real reason, the purpose behind it feels good. And it's okay to say, I like money. It's okay to say, I want to drive a nice car, I want a house, and all these things. What is your drive behind that? Besides your children and your family, that's not the question that I was asking. What is your real purpose, your reason behind that? That's where I was getting at.
Yeah, that was good. I like that. When I heard that, I was like, damn.
Yeah, no.
And it's okay. I think we're told if you use that, it's selfish, right?
Well,
it's selfish, and it's not.
No, it really comes down to, I think we could be like right here, Carla, and we can share this together.
So awkward.
This is a little.
I'm feeling a little uncomfortable here.
So awkward right
We're so
We
close.
can make this work.
No, that's cool. that's cool.
We need a bigger studio. It's in the works. We
can make this work. You can sit down.
No, I'm good. But no, it was just really neat. We were just talking about how breaking down the results and being very specific about what it is that we're going to do over the next few months is such an advantage, but it can also be counterproductive if you do nothing with it. And the example we just gave was like, okay, we already, all of us have bigger ambitions, and there's a gap between where we're at and where we want to go. And if we now go into an environment where we see something greater for ourselves than what we originally thought it was possible, and we do nothing about it, all we did was increase the gap, which we increase the feeling overwhelmed because we're not doing the other side of it, which is the work. And what a shame to go into a meeting like we had yesterday and then do absolutely nothing about it.
What do we say? Not apply it.
Yeah.
Everything you've learned, not apply it to something. That's what it is, I believe. I think I said that where we're constantly learning more and more about our business and how to grow and just all these things that are out there. There's so much out there, education-wise, on how to grow a business, but yet no one's applying that. No one's executing it, taking that, next
it's almost
step.
like you're better off just grabbing 1-2 ideas and implement
right.
versus being bombarded with all this great information and
not do anything with it.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah,
it's good. No, it's good though. But you delivered a powerful message, Carla. You were really just.
It was new to me.
Yeah,
it really was. I'm going to tell you why.
Because you come in on fire. And
I do. That's why I originally said those who know me, it's going to be a completely different Carla, and I just love that part of me, just because it was new to me. I'm not, of course, you know me. I'm not embarrassed or shy or anything, but. I wanted to really say what I needed to say, but we would have been there for hours.
It's funny though, because at the end it tapered up, like the intensity level for Carla went, like it just.
No, but Carla, you were really raw. I don't know if you guys remember this, but Carla was really raw about a particular time in our lives, right? Because we talk about we're business owners, and there's a lot of stress that we have to deal with. There's a lot of moving parts to owning a business, and this can be very overwhelming. And Carla, you let in, I guess you explained something that you haven't really told many people about the time that you were so stressed out that your hair started coming off, right? Where you talked about chunks of your hair literally coming off your head.
That was a news story. It was just, I don't think people talk about, people always see the other person so successful and so on and so forth, but they don't really see the pain behind it.
There's a lot.
And there was a lot of things that a lot of people around us as we were growing didn't see what we were going through. And so when you were out of town, I sent you a picture. Yeah. I was at my desk, and I remember my hands started it felt like I was having a heart attack almost. My hands started crippling up, so I couldn't even grab my pen. Mm-hmm. So at the time, who used to work for me, actually she was there, Angie was there. I said, I think my hand is falling, like I couldn't feel it anymore. So I thought something was wrong with me, and I head out to urgent care, the one down the street, and I was under a lot of stress. It was stress. Wow. And I had realized days before that, weeks before that, my hair started falling out, and a rash started growing on my face. My body felt like it was a flu. I didn't want to get out of bed. And my mind is wired like this. No matter what pain you're going through, shit needs to get done. Things need to get done. So I was still showing up at the gym. I was deadlifting the day before. So, because my body will feel the pain if my mind tells me it's pain. Mm-hmm. But my mind is just telling me hard work, commitment, stick it through. No pain, no gain, right? So, and I did do that. And that morning, I started feeling the effects bad. So when I get to urgent care, he said, wait a minute, you're still going at 1,000 miles an hour. So I'm like, yeah, because I don't stop. That's just how I'm wired. That's who I am. Mm-hmm. But I didn't realize my face started to burn. There's so many things that I can tell you. But I think the one that was a big shocker was the chunk of hair that came out. And that was when I knew, okay, I need to take a step back. Stress hit me.
It's your body responding to it.
And that's why we said, part of the P3 or the Prime 3 is really accessing that power through the mental and physical aspects of it. And there wasn't a lot of space that you created for yourself. You were so overwhelmed. There was never a time where you can just take some time to relax, to meditate, to just bring your thoughts together, because it was a constant go, 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 go. And you got the breakdown. You started breaking apart. And so we learned a lot from that. And, that was one of the reasons why
I think we started creating more when we created that space to see what more looked like. Mm-hmm. And if you don't create that space, you will never know what more looks like, what the next step, what the next chapter is. And that's something that I've learned, and I love expressing that as much as I can, and I guess teach it and through my life to understand that you do need a pause for a little bit to put yourself back together, to understanding what is your next step.
And when you say create space, Carla, what do you do?
When I create space, I do a couple of things. I journal, I work out tremendously, and I like the pain and the drive and the commitment and dedication, but it also helps me feel empowered, helps me feel like an incredible superwoman, that I can do anything. So my ideas start to come to me like, oh man, these are all the things I can create. And so I start to write down in the middle of a workout, because those are when I create the most phenomenal ideas. And I'm not just writing things down. I know that I'm writing things down, I'm going to follow through with them, because that's what I do.
She carries a good journal around, but I also see you taking the time to pray.
Prayer is huge to me. That prayer is huge. I do that in the morning. So you want to know my day? I wake up in the morning. and I stretch. I have this whole stretching routine that's in my living room. I don't hit the gym yet. I have a mat. I have all kinds of things. But I pray. Prayer is huge to me. I listen to my prayer app, my Bible app, and I say thanks. Thanks for everything. Thanks for the pain. Thanks for everything I'm going to go through today. Mm-hmm. Thanks for the stresses. Thanks for everything. I'm alive. I'm breathing. My family's good. I'm good. Everything coming at me is just part of life, and I can handle it. So my prayer is strong.
Gratitude.
Pretty much.
Gratitude.
Pretty much. Yeah. I go outside. I take a deep breath. I hear the birds. That's huge to me, by the way. The birds, the wind, everything. I try to take in everything. And then I give that moment to start writing and journaling. And
I
then
think that's really being present, right?
Right.
I mean, it really is.
That's what.
That's very specific too. Like,
right, and they're very and that's what I'm saying. I can tell you detail on what I do. The reason for that is because that's when the most time that I start to create ideas in my mind. Yeah. And out of nowhere, I'll text these guys in the studio, pull up, do this and do that, and they're like, okay. So it's just kind of neat because that's the most time that I start to create ideas.
But here's the thing. Because of space, that's what allows you to come up with these ideas and the next steps for the business. And I think we're so conditioned to just work that it doesn't allow you time to actually think about how to expand, how to scale. And, you know, our growth happened not only in our marriage, but in our business when we had the right people in place and created that space for ourselves to be like, okay, what are the next steps? But it's so easy to get caught up on the work aspect of it, right? That we forget, okay, hey, we need to take a step back here and see where else this is going from here.
Yeah, right? I feel that way. It's like, how do I have time to meditate if I have to return these calls? Like, no, I can't, you know?
You got to do something. And journal and read, like, even taking a few, my dedication on my desk, I always have a book, and my thing is I got to read 5 pages before I leave the office. And that's during the office hours. Yeah. Before I even get ready, I'm listening to my audiobooks. You know, so there's always constant knowledge coming in, but it's the second part of that. It's applying it, right?
But I think it's harder to do that for some, and I can tell that you this from my experience, because I didn't know what that was about. And I think AZ started that trend in the household.
Well,
and
I used to make fun of me for
meditating at the grocery store.
Literally, I used to have an argument with him, and he used to stop the cart, and I'm like, "What are you doing? We don't have time for this."
Creating space.
So, I didn't know what that meant. So to those who are listening and don't know what that, I didn't know that either. Yeah. It has to really, something has to really go, like, you have to come to, like, hit a wall, basically, to understand that process. And for me, it was a moment I was at urgent care with like literally chunks of my hair were gone and my rash on my face. I mean, it was just, I have a picture of it. I should actually pull it up. Yeah. It is extremely disgusting. Stress hit me. It hit me hard. My body felt it internally, externally. It was and so that's when I knew, oh my God, I know exactly. And this is at the time AZ was getting coached. And so I'm like, I know exactly why AZ's doing what he's doing. Yeah. So as I'm talking to him with all these stresses, like, on the phone, let me send you a picture. Do you know what he was doing? Completely nothing, but allowing me to kind of give him all my negative energy. And AZ was so powerful at that moment, at that time now, that he was just like, whatever you're giving me will not go, I will not take that. That is your problem, your situation, handle it. So we hung up. And I'm so glad that he did that, because AZ would be a savior. He would have been on the flight, he would have come home, he would have saved me, and I would have never figured out, wow, space is huge. So I'm so grateful. And for the most part, husbands always want to give that, cater to their wives. I get it.
Like standing up on a podcast that he's hosting.
Right. And I took over.
Being on the background.
Yeah, I took over.
Curtain. Yeah.
But AZ did tell me that. Handle it. However you handle it. So that is when I think people start to realize this is huge. But they have to hit a wall, or if not, you won't know what reading 5 pages a day is. You won't know what listening to birds mean. You won't know that. No. You just don't come from that space, and that's okay. But eventually you will hit a wall. I did. Everybody does.
It's funny because I have a funny story about creating space when not so much on business, but more or less with family. So we have cameras set up in our house, and then Nilza catches me every once in a while where I'll park the car and I won't go in. And I'll wait, and then it's definitely creating space, but on a different level. It's creating space so that way when I go in there with my kids, I'm not taking in any of that negative energy from the office or from a deal that's going south or something. So I'll do it every once in a while, not every time, but I'll go and I'll sit in the car and I'll wait like a good 5 minutes before I go in. I'll turn the music up, I'll have the AC blasting, and then I'll walk in and she'll be like, what were you doing out there? Because she could see me on the camera.
Remember when I used to do that? But I didn't do that because I want to create space. No. I was like, do I even want to be here? No. That was the honest truth.
I'm so glad that you said that, because AZ used to do it because of what you think. AZ used to do it because he didn't want to hear me nagging. So he knew the moment he was going to walk in, I was going to say, throw the garbages out. Whatever it was.
No, it was just
nag.
It was way beyond that.
No, I'm not just saying the garbage, but it would just be any little thing I can attack him with. Like, you left your shoes out, or you didn't pick up your area, or you didn't return my call, or whatever.
Oh, that's so common.
His thing was pulling in, and I would see him through the cameras too, by the way. And I would be like, why is he sitting in his car? One time I went out, and I was like, get in the house, and I didn't realize.
He backs up.
Yeah, I didn't realize how bad it was.
I was, I wasn't in the right place, and I knew it. I mean, I wasn't.
Neither of us were in the right.
And I was investing more, and I cared more about the business than anything else. So, my family took a back seat. The marriage took a back seat. And the way you treat or the way you would talk to me was all a byproduct of me not showing up powerfully. And instead of addressing the issue, I would just avoid it, and I would avoid it by staying at the office longer hours. Even though we worked together, I would stay even longer, prolonging.
Well, I got home, and you would get home 2 hours later.
Yeah,
because he literally was trying to create that space and be
not
ready.
Space.
Space, but space ready for me to to handle.
What wasn't that? Yeah, I mean, I just didn't want to deal with the marriage, right?
Well, be honest. That's what I'm saying. To create that space that you knew that you were going to be able to handle me. Because if not, I was,
It's like ready for the waves to hit. Like, let me go ahead and take a deep breath.
I'll be the first to admit, I'm a lot of work.
All marriages
Only
are.
I can handle you. That's like, what is that called? That's manipulation, isn't it?
I was like, wait.
Only I can handle you. It's like,
no one's going to watch
No one's going to watch you. Only I will love you. That's messed up. Oh shit. Anyway. But, no, thanks, guys, for kind of sharing your experience yesterday. I thought it was an awesome meeting. It was a very educational type of meeting. And we have clear patterns, or clear, things that we need to go after, clear actions and the results that we want. And that's what the game is all about. So anything else you want to add, Ms. Carla Araujo?
No, I'm good. I just stepped in here just because I heard voices.
You stepped in here and took over my chair.
I like the light. I like my voice. I'm all about spotlight. I'm all about the spotlight.
Oh, man.
No, but, if you're interested in joining AZ & Associates, I'm going to highly encourage you to go to azassociates.com or badassagents.com and learn more about what we do and how we can actually help you build not only your business, but just life in general, about understanding what it takes to live life powerfully. But don't take my word for it. Check what these agents have to say about AZ & Associates. Then I'm going to come back to you guys, so maybe some final comments. But go ahead and show the clip there. What would you tell those agents that are on the fence about joining AZ & Associates?
Best decision I've made in my life.
There's no other brokerage where you can get this level of training and support.
I like that we focus on all different aspects of life. It's just not real estate.
But having somebody that's on your team that's going to keep you accountable.
They constantly seem to show up with some different information just when I think that they've showed me everything.
And you're not crushing Facebook stories and Instagram stories, and you're not doing a podcast. You're leaving money on the table.
You've turned into not just a brokerage, a multimedia just powerhouse.
Of having it all, right? Not just getting the next paycheck, but having a life that was on fire on all aspects.
How long is it going to take you? A year? By all means. Work your ass off for a year.
Mindset you had where it's just be humble, coachable, honest, just do the right things, right?
I'm surrounded by business-minded individuals who are focused on growing their business and helping their clients.
Look at that. We got to stop that loop there, buddy. No, Jesse, you were about to say something right before we...
No, I was just going to say that this is just another day at the office.
Another day, That's what it's all about.
Office.
You guys got this cool shirt yesterday. You got the Do the Work workhorse tee. Where is that at? Right there. Yeah. Okay. Look at those red eyes. So anybody that hit a certain threshold, the top 20, got one of these red eye workhorses. And it's got the DTW gear, right? This is the foundation of AZ & Associates to do the work concepts and methodologies. But proud of you guys, man. Thank you for walking into the studio today and doing this with me. And where can they find you guys? Let's go ahead and give them some info so they can follow you guys as well.
So you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, therealdeal.com.
That's the RIO deal.
The RIO deal.
Therealdeal.com,
yeah. And through social media, you'll see my ads popping up sooner or later.
Nice. And Jesse, where can they find you, man?
Same thing, Facebook, Jesse Abarca. Instagram is AZ's Rising Stars.
Good deal.
Definitely.
And then you guys have a podcast too. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, and review on iTunes and
Google Play. On everything now. I think we got to incorporate iHeart now too. I heard that's growing. Those bros in a pod.
All right.